Hey, good afternoon everyone, and greetings from the Norwegian Bliss cruise ship. In this video, I'm going to show you absolutely everything Norwegian Bliss has to offer, from the bars and the drinks, to the restaurants and the food, to all the attractions and things to do, beginning here on the Lido Deck. Now, I was on a colder weather sailing, so the Lido Deck wasn't as busy as on others, but they did have two pools. The pool over there next to that kids splash area, which was pretty neat, that is a family-friendly pool. The pool on the other side was labeled adults only, which is also nice. And the Norwegian Bliss, well, it's a really good cruise ship when it comes to water slides. They have two of them. This one here, the blue one, that is called the Aqua Racer. It is a gentler slide that you ride down in a tube. Now, the marquee slide is this one right here, the Ocean Loops. This is a drop pod slide. So if you haven't been on one of these before, you go in that little glass enclosed capsule, close the door, and then the floor will drop out from underneath you, and the water slide hangs over the side of the ship. It is really, really wild. I did think the pool area was pretty nice on the Norwegian Bliss. They had some of these big sculptures around the pool deck, but unfortunately, with it being a colder weather thing, they did not do a whole lot of activities in the pool area. Like, there's going to have this giant movie screen right here, which is massive, but I think on my 5-night cruise, they only showed 2 movies and didn't use it for a whole lot. But on other sailings, it could be very important. Now let's go check out the rest of the ship.
Located in the very back of the ship on deck 17, it gets what's known as the Spice H2O area. Now, during the day, this is an adults only area filled with a lot of sun loungers. There's also 2 pretty large hot tubs out here, as well as a stage. Now, on our sailing, we're on kind of a cold weather sailing. It's currently 48 degrees outside. Obviously, there's a bar out here as well. If this 48 degrees, nobody is hanging out on this water feature, which, I mean, if it was like 95 degrees, this probably be very pleasant. Right now, not so much. Now, I've been on other Norwegian cruise lines where they use Spice H2O a lot. Like, this becomes like a dance party every single night, and you can see that they have all the tech for it. On our sailing, with between cold weather and a little bit more rocky seas, they have not used this area for any sort of special event. But it's still here, and it's kids free, so you can enjoy the hot tubs in peace. Located on the very top of the ship, right next to the ship's funnel, you have the go-kart track on board. And it does not seem like they go overly fast, as obviously the double carts probably go slower than the single carts will. Really cool to do this on a sea day. Like, look at the view you get from as you're racing around your little go-kart. Now, unfortunately, the go-karts are an upcharge experience. It does cost $15, and I believe you get about 4 to 7 laps per race, somewhere in there. It's pretty neat. If you want to do a go-kart on a cruise ship, this is actually a pretty good sized course to do so, but still, that spending that kind of $15 is like, oh man, I don't know. Once I pay for a cruise, I don't like to spend extra money while on a cruise. And while I enjoy go-karts, I'll just wait till I go back home, go ride with Fun Spot. On the very top deck in the back of the ship, there is a small, free 5-hole mini golf course. I always like playing mini golf on a cruise ship, and the course is in really, really good shape. Obviously, it's only 5 holes, so it's not too big. Also filming this in the port of Victoria, British Columbia. Rather pretty here with the mountains in the background. If you're looking for a quieter outdoor pool bar and hot tub, come up to deck 19 towards the front of the ship, as there's a hot tub and a pool bar with nobody at it. I didn't even know this existed. So I'm currently on the very, very top of the ship. Deck 20 is a really big cruise ship, and this is where you'll find the laser tag arena. Now, this is something that'll run at certain hours of the day. It is an upcharge as well. If you want to play laser tag, it does cost you $10 to play a game, which is not absurd. And they have a pretty cool arena for it. A little bit more information about laser tag. Laser tag only runs in the evening on our sailing, so around 6 or so in the evening to around 9 p.m. But like, the thematic elements in here are very well done. Like, I don't know who they hired to build this, but it's pretty impressive. Check that out. And obviously, like, if you're not playing laser tag but you just want to walk around, check this out. You can come here during the day. Really neat. I am currently on deck 6 in the middle of the ship in the atrium, and the atrium is a hub of activities here on the ship. There's all sorts of stuff that happens in here from about 9 in the morning till midnight. You got game shows, trivia, talks. There was a teppanyaki cooking demonstration one day. They're getting ready to do napkin folding. Bands play in the evening. There's game shows in the evening. So it's and I really like these chairs as well. So you can hear the clanging behind me. There is a bar that runs really, really long hours. We're on just the standard bar menu. Internet cafe and help desk in case you have some problems with the app or your internet package. Over on the other side, there's kind of some nuts and bolts stuff like shore excursions and guest services. There's the cruise next desk, which actually they do a really good deal here on Norwegian Cruise Line where you buy like deposits for future cruises and you can save a lot of money. And if you're a Starbucks person, well, there is a Starbucks in the lobby area and it's a pretty good sized Starbucks. On deck 15 in the front of the ship, you'll find the observation lounge, which is the biggest lounge on board the Norwegian Bliss cruise ship. They also, in this lounge, have a giant model of this very, very large cruise ship. Look at that. One of the things I enjoy about the observation lounge is that in the morning they offer a light breakfast, and in the afternoon they'll offer snacks. See what kind of stuff we got. Bacon, cheese, onion, pinwheels. Well, that's definitely going to happen. That sounds fantastic. Some of that pretzel bread, as well as some desserts.
Greg, look at that caramel.
If you go all the way to the front of the observation lounge, there is a bar. There's also a piano over here. They have a piano guy that plays in the evening. A little bit more relaxed piano guy that won't play in the pub. And then the best part of the observation lounge is, well, this section right here. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Filming this on our sea day, so you can see just, nothing all around. Some great chairs in here. Hang out, relax, watch the ocean, enjoy a drink, read a book, take a nap, whatever you want to do. But quite enjoy the observation lounge. Back in the observation lounge again, just wanted to show today's view, very different than the last view I showed you. We're sailing towards Vancouver, and all the mountains up in the distance.
Located on deck 7, all the way in the front of the ship, is where you will find the Bliss Theatre. On my 5-night sailing, there was actually 2 full Broadway-style shows. On 2 nights, they played Jersey Boys, which is a really good show about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. The other one was Six, which is all about the wives of Henry VIII. And really, really, really impressive shows for a cruise ship to have. Very Broadway style. Some of them were Broadway length, like Jersey Boys was almost 2 hours long. Six was, I believe, 75 minutes long. Both shows absolutely worth your time. Go check them out. On the other night of the cruise, there was a juggler, sort of a guest entertainer. More of a traditional cruise ship act, but still fun. The shows, the big Broadway shows, you do have to book them in advance, and some of them do fill up. So you could either do that, I think, before you're sailing, if you're a certain level in their loyalty program, or do it exactly when you get on board to make sure you get the show times that you want. But yeah, one of the highlights of the ship.
Right now, probably my favorite spot on the entire ship. On deck 8, it's the District Brewhouse. Now, this is the craft beer bar on board. They got 20 beers on draft, and there are 30 or so in the bottle, and it's just really great. They actually do a contest to see who could drink the most varieties of beer. I'm currently winning, which probably surprises no one. Drinking a left, a really, really good selection of beers. They have a piano guy that plays in the evening. He's been really good on this ship. Also love that they have like mini beer pong outs where you could play on the tables. And you got some really cool views from the windows. Located on deck 7, right above the atrium, is the local bar and grill. They have a bar that'll run some really long hours. It will overlook the atrium, but the grill part's what's really exciting. It's a 24-hour diner-style restaurant. I didn't have breakfast today, so I'm gonna have a pretty good-sized lunch. Right now I'm going to take a look at the menu on what's for lunch. Now the lunch menu is different from the dinner menu, which is different from the breakfast menu, which is different from the late night menu. Obviously these are all drinks, so I kind of squash past that. Starters, there's a soup of the day, a beef chili, Cobb salad, Caesar salad, my personal favorite, the half dozen chicken wings, spinach and artichoke dip, pretzel bites, grilled sausage sliders, loaded nachos. See what kind of sandwiches they got. A Reuben, chicken salad sandwich, fish sandwich, cheeseburger, Wrangler burger, new cheeseburger, a pub hot dog, Coney Island hot dog, and a couple of favorites on the back, fish and chips, lechon asado, fettuccine carbonara, and a couple of desserts. Got my appetizers, the buffalo chicken wings, my personal favorite, but I really also enjoy the pretzel bites with clear cheese. For my main course, I got the Wrangler burger, and finishing up with the raspberry cheesecake brownie. Right next next to the local, there's also a small arcade. The coolest part of the arcade being for $7, you can play some mini bowling and some other games as well. I really like that pretty much every Norwegian ship has this, and they have their own custom squash penny machine. You win a duck. Play some higher value prize games, or win a multicolored Batman. And then arcade classic, Super Mario Kart. On deck 6, in the middle of the ship, you'll find the social, comedy, and nightclub, which obviously has two different roles, and you could guess it, early in the evening, it's the comedy club. Now, comedy is something you have to book in advance once you get on the ship. So once you get on the ship, I recommend getting on the app or going to one of the touchscreens and booking the comedy shows right away because they do fill up. And later in the evening, it does become the ship's nightclub. We're on a colder weather sailing, so there's also some of the dance parties in here and a silent disco. I do really like the Wyland hub art of all the aquatic animals on the side of the ship, and it's a really, really big cruise ship. My favorite live music venue on the ship is the Cavern Club, located on deck 8. The Cavern Club is designed after the famous Cavern Club in Liverpool, where the Beatles were discovered. And in here, that's one of the things you'll see. They have a Beatles band that plays twice a night on most nights of the ship, and they do theme sets, so it'll be like a Beatlemania set, and a Sgt. Pepper set, and an Abbey Road set. Now, one thing about this venue, it is not overly large, so if you do want to see the Beatles, I would say get here early, probably good 20 minutes to a half an hour, because it does fill up very quickly. There's also karaoke in this pub. One area of the Norwegian Bliss I really enjoy is on deck 8. They have this section here called the waterfront, which wraps about 3/4 of the way around the ship. And lots of outdoor seating out here. Just come and enjoy the ocean views. At the waterfront, you also get some wonderful aft views, which are always really, really relaxing, kind of cool, kind of mesmerizing. They do have a glass floor, but it doesn't drop down to the ocean. It just drops down to that dovetail-like thing at the back of the ship. Do you like the view? One thing that's also nice about the waterfront is there is outdoor seating for a lot of the specialty restaurants. So if you're eating at Cagney's, Los Lobos, Ocean Blue, or La Casina, and then you're having a nice weather day, you know, not probably today where it's like 50 degrees out, you can eat outside. If you're sailing somewhere scenic, I believe on the sailing after this, the Bliss starts doing Alaska cruises, and they've got on the waterfront a couple of these free mega binoculars. There are two different bars on the waterfront area. There's one outside of the sugarcane mojito bar. This one's nice because they have a different sustainable cocktail every single day. So I try to stop here every day of the cruise, try something different. There's also one outside of the cavern. In this next segment, I'm going to talk about the main dining rooms here on the Norwegian Bliss. There are 3 different main dining rooms. They'll all serve the same menu. The largest of which is the Manhattan room, located on deck 7 in the back of the ship. And here we are in the Manhattan dining room. Man, it is a big main dining room. It is a very pretty main dining room as well. Lots of windows. It's on the very back of the ship. Look at this, like big 2-story room. Fun chandeliers. Can't lose my friend as I'm getting to the table. Now in this next segment, I'm going to show you everything I had to eat in the main dining room while here on the Norwegian Bliss. For my appetizer this evening, I went with the spinach and artichoke dip. Very simple, but always a good time. For my main entree, I got a Parmesan crusted pork chop. Looks good. For dessert, got one of my favorites, a Boston cream pie. Dinner time on night 4, and I did not have lunch today, so I'm going double appetizer. I got the pot stickers and potato croquettes. For my main course this evening, I got the chicken cordon bleu. That looks really good. And for dessert this evening, I opted for the cannoli. Tonight, I got the beef soup as an appetizer. I love how it has the bread in the middle of it. For my main entree tonight, I got the honey baked ham. It smells so good. And for dessert, the chocolate volcano. Located on deck 6 in the middle of the ship, you'll find the mix bar. This kind of operates as the bar before you go into the dining rooms. There's 2 dining rooms down here, Savor and Taste. They're both pretty similar. These are the dining rooms that will be open for breakfast and lunch. And there's no difference between this and the one upstairs. These are a bit smaller, but I've eaten them both and I've enjoyed them all. The food's been really good on this ship. Located midship on deck 8, right next to the beautiful, beautiful chandelier, you'll find the Sugarcane Mojito Bar, which is a nice tropical cocktail bar. They've got 10 or 11 different types of mojitos and tropical drinks. I'm currently drinking the raspberry guava mojito. They also have one of my favorite drinks on the ship, a Saturn Landing, a take on the classic Saturn drink. And they make something called the Rainbow Shot, which I highly recommend. In the evening, there will be a duo that plays here.
On deck 16 in the back of the ship, you'll find the spa area on board the Norwegian Bliss. And I'm generally not the biggest spa person, but I did take the tour to check things out. And this is where you would go to get any of your massages or treatments done. And these all have varying costs. They also have a big barber shop and salon up here. For me, I think the highlight of the spa area is they have a really, really nice thermal suite area. This is an area of the ship that you got to buy a pass to get into. And it includes all these really great relaxing things, from just some really nice loungers to these heated loungers, this wonderful thermal pool and hot tub, all sorts of stuff in there. It seems like just the most relaxing place on the entire ship. So if that is what you're looking for on your cruise, definitely would recommend the thermal pass. I'm not sure of the pricing on that one. And also right by the spa, that is where you will find the gym on board the Norwegian Bliss. A decent gym. I thought it was a little small for how many people were on the ship. So every time I went in there, it was pretty crowded.
Right now I'm having a seat at Malton's Whiskey Bar in deck 8 in the middle of the ship. Drinking my favorite drink from this bar, and that is the Woodford Old Fashioned. Obviously, as the whiskey bar, it would have the best selection of whiskeys anywhere on the ship. A decent selection of what's covered by your beverage packets. So you could get Woodford or Gentleman Jack. Now, if you do have that Premium Plus package, this is really one of the bars where it'll work out in your favor. Like, as much as my favorite whiskey is Blanton's. Not paying $30 a shot for it, but they do have quite the selection here. On deck 7 is where you'll find the casino, and the casino takes up almost the entire midship of deck 7. A very big casino. It's interesting, I've seen sometimes when the casino is pretty busy, sometimes when the casino is not busy at all. Got the big chandelier again. Lots of slot machines, lots of table games. If you are a table game player, the table games offered here on board the Norwegian Bliss are craps, blackjack, Mississippi stud poker, baccarat, pie gow, roulette, Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker, let it ride, and regular poker. Now my game of choice is video poker. They've got some machines hiding out over there in the corner. As somebody that doesn't smoke, something I like about this casino is that it is a no smoking casino. You know, nothing against people that smoke, I just don't like the smell. But if you are a smoker, there is a smoking section of the casino. You're kind of in your own glassed off area, which we're coming up on soon. And yeah, lots and lots of different games. I'm not the biggest gambler, so I didn't gamble on this ship. At least so far, you know, that could change. And you can see this section over here, that is the smoking area. You do get over, there's going to be the Skyline Casino Bar, which is going to be one of those video poker bars. You got these coin pushing games. I will say that is a dangerous combination though. You could just sit at the bar and drink and play video poker. You also got some big screens in here that will show sports. They do get one weird sports channel, so they might not have all the games you want. Some comfy chairs. Something I like about this in the casino, to keep people gambling, if they get hungry, there's like snacks over here. The other day I was in here, there was cookies. And there we go, that's the casino on deck 7. On deck 8, you'll find the Wine Cellar Bar. Now, I am not a big wine person, so actually I have not been in this bar before. But something I do like about it is that their menus are on tablets, so you can learn all about the wines before you pick one out on the tablets. They also do a lot of wine tasting classes in here. Located on deck 16 in the front of the ship, you'll find the Garden Cafe. Now that is the buffet on board the Norwegian Bliss, and it's open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One thing I do like, they do advertise some of the main items for dinner. Like today is barbecue pork ribs. As soon as you enter the buffet, there is one of multiple beverage stations. There are 2 types of soup that do change out daily. You got a pasta fajoule and a minestrone. And right next to that, a cruise ship classic, the soft serve ice cream machine. Here are the bread selections for lunch today. I will say they do bread really, really well. There's lots of good bread. There is always pizza over here. And then this is a tossed salad station. Today it is Italian chicken salad. There's always a cheeseburger and hot dog station. What I do like is they do change it up every day. So today's burger of the day, it is a burger patty topped with grilled pineapple, bacon, and teriyaki sauce. And who doesn't love french fries? There's a large salad bar where you could build your own salad or opt for a number of cold salads. Some different types of fruit and some very classic looking jello. One section of the buffet over here is for hot entrees, and it is pretty much busy at all points in time. Over there you got a couple different flavors of ice cream, more desserts. So that's some pretty good desserts at the buffet. And the hot entrees, the cool thing about the hot entrees, well, they normally have two different carving stations. Today looks like some sort of a roast lamb, and then normally they have some sort of a beef, and pasta is in the middle. Every day for breakfast and lunch and dinner, there is a Taste of India section of the buffet. If you go all the way to the back of the buffet, there is a full-service bar that also will serve fresh squeezed juices. And if you, this buffet is pretty much crowded at all points in time. If you can't find a table, I would say come to the back. But a lot of the times for the buffet, it's been so busy I had to eat outside near the pool. Also, just be aware, some of the stations do repeat. Like I'm now at the second salad bar, which is much quieter than the first one. Really neat option here. They do a noodle soup where you can kind of put your bowl together and then they'll toss some broth in there. And then there is a Taste of Asia section as well. And there we go, that's the buffet. Very, very busy. Food has been, some things are great, some things are not so great, as you'd expect with most buffets. On deck 6, in the middle of the ship, you'll find the art gallery on board. Something I enjoy about the art gallery, the pictures change up pretty much every day. Now they'll do events down here like scavenger hunts, and then also on sea days, I think every single sea day we had, there's been an art auction. I just like coming down and seeing what's different every day. A big thing here on the Norwegian Bliss is specialty restaurants. Now these are restaurants that are not included with the cost of your cruise and will cost extra. Most of them are all a la carte. You can buy dining packages for some of them. Right now I'm on the back of the ship on deck 8, and this is where two of them are. On the right side, as I'm walking in, that is going to be Cagney's. It's going to be their steakhouse. Also, this is where the A-list bar is. So if you want like kind of a little more upscale bar, a quiet bar, good choice for you. And you don't have to be dining at the restaurants to go to the A-list bar. But over here on the left is where I'm dining this evening, and that is Lobos, the Mexican specialty restaurant. I've never been on this one on one of these Norwegian ships, so I'm excited to try it out. Made it to my table. I got some chips and salsa. These are really fantastic. And then the menu. Now I'm using my dining package credit. I got the free at sea promotion, so I get one specialty dining restaurant, and I get my choice of 2 appetizers, or an appetizer and soup, or something like that, and then 1 main course. So I'm still racking my brain, but I feel like it's gonna be so much food. For the appetizer course, I got 2 appetizers. I got the beef empanadas and the queso fundido. The main course has arrived. I got the carne asada steak. Looks like it comes with some chimichurri and fresh tortillas. And then I got a couple of sides. There's the Mexican street court elote, Mexican rice, and refried beans. I am going to be so full after this. Oh my. I am remarkably full, but of course dessert has to come next. Fried beignets, a Tres Leches cake, flan, or chocolate cake or ice cream. I really don't know if there's any room for this, but it comes with dessert, so might as well. I got some beignets with guava sauce and brown sugar. And that's Los Lobos. Now let's go take a look at the other specialty restaurants here on the Bliss. Located on deck 8, you'll find La Casina. I love the entrance. It also is right next to the wine bar. Really cool entrance with all the different bottles of wine. This is the upcharge Italian restaurant. I have eaten here before on other Norwegian ships, and I actually really, really like it. Not eating there this time, but it's good stuff. And man, I love the lights. Look at those lights. On deck 8, towards the front of the ship, you'll find Food Republic. And this is an interesting restaurant. The price point's going to be a little bit lower than some of the others on board. And it's a sushi bar. There's also going to be like street food in here and fusion food, noodles, rice bowls, dumplings. And it's really cool because you order via the tablets. I think it's kind of like you're eating in a solarium, but so that's very bright, very nice. Located on deck 8 towards the back of the ship, you'll find the bake shop. This is going to be an upcharge bakery items. Look at the cupcakes, they look so wonderful. Small cupcake $2, large cupcake $3. Oh, look at that peanut butter one. They also have macarons, little chocolates, and gelato. Sculpture pretty cool. On deck 8 in the middle of the ship, you'll find Ocean Blue, which is the upcharge specialty seafood restaurant. Now there'll be steaks as well, but it's really focuses on the seafood. They do have lobster tail on the menu. I would say not one of the more interesting rooms for the specialty restaurants here. But if you like seafood, this is probably going to be for you then. Located on deck 6, you'll find the Teppanyaki restaurant, which is another upcharge restaurant. This is one where they cook the food right in front of you. They put on a show. It's also, out of all the specialty restaurants, this is the only one that's a set price of $59 a person. Located on deck 17, right by the water slides, first of all, you've got these really cool nautical themed booths, and I don't believe these are part of the restaurant, but then there is a restaurant over here on my right. It is the American Diner. Now this is another upcharge specialty restaurant, but this one's more like burgers and fries and things like that, you know, like kind of American comfort food like you find at, you know, your neighborhood diner. It's going to come in at a much lower price point than the other specialty restaurants on board the ship. On deck 6 in the midship, you'll find Coco's, which is an upcharge establishment, another one. This one will serve kind of treats and sweets. So you can buy some of these fancy cakes for $4. They'll also have gelato, and then big crazy shakes, and crepes. On deck 17 in the back of the ship, you'll find Le Bistro, which is the upcharge French restaurant on board. I've dined here before, probably not my favorite restaurant on the Norwegian cruise line. On deck 6, towards the front of the ship, you will find Q, which is an upcharge barbecue restaurant that operates in the evening. They will use this space for other things, whether it be arts and crafts or activities. There was a movie in here yesterday. Something I really like about Q in the evening, on the stage there is a big country music band that performs, like a 5-piece band, and they play nothing but country music. It's very fitting for the setting. Now, if you want to just listen to the band, you can hang out by the bar in that area, and you don't have to worry about spending all the money on the food. Yeah, pretty good band. On deck 5 is where you'll find the Splash Academy Kids Club and the Entourage Teen Club. Now, obviously, I'm not a kid or a teen, so I can't show you in there, but I can show you around the video arcade, a pretty good size arcade. I do enjoy arcade games. If you win any tickets, you'll put them in the ticket machine and then come here to get your prize. A pretty good size prize machine. Seems like somebody has cleaned out Stacker. You play Deal or No Deal. Now, something I like that Norwegian Cruise Line does is that you can buy an arcade pass, and the arcade pass would be good for anything that's not a prize game. So if you just want to play all the video games, either here or in the local arcade, you can buy that arcade pass, and that will work on anything with a green swiping device. And then I believe it's around $25 a day. So on my 5-day cruise, the arcade pass would be $125, which, you know, if I was coming on this cruise as, a teenager or a kid, that would be my absolute favorite thing about this cruise, would be that, okay, my mom and dad could pay a bunch of money, and then I could beat every single arcade game in here. And they got some winners. I mean, you could just sit on Halo Fireteam Raven or Dead Storm Pirates and beat the entire thing. Jurassic Park. Now these games, they do all cost money, and they have a varying range of prices. So I'm going to look at this one here. If you want to play skee ball, $1.66. You know, they really use every inch of this arcade, and they use it pretty well. Located on deck 17, in the front of the ship, you'll get to the Haven area. Now the Haven is the ship within a ship concept for guests staying in suites. They get their own pool, their own lounge. I think they might have their own restaurant as well. I'm staying in a studio, so I definitely can't show you any more than just where it is. On deck 19 in the front of the ship, you'll find the Vibe Beach Club. Now this is another upcharge area. This one you could buy a pass for. On my 5-night sailing to get into the Vibe Beach Club, it was $209. And it's, in the 40s and 50s, so obviously it's not the most popular thing. But hey, I mean, those people got their own private hot tub, so that sounds pretty nice. There is a bar in this section as well. You know, if you're going on a warm weather sailing, and obviously I believe this is adults only, it might be worth it to you, but on this sailing, well, if you're those two people in the hot tub, that might be worth it. The main shopping area on board the Norwegian Bliss is here on deck 8 in the middle of the ship. There are two main stores and a couple little things in the middle. The things in the middle will change what they're selling most days. The biggest store is over there, and that's beauty, jewelry, and watches. Also in this area is going to be the photo gallery if you want to buy any of the photos you took on board. Now my favorite shop is the Sandbar. I'm going to walk you guys through that now. And this is duty-free liquor and your Norwegian Cruise Line logo merchandise. See what kind of merch they have. Nice water bottle for the Norwegian Bliss. One for a Norwegian Cruise Line. Well, that's adorable. A kid's chef set or a kid's baking set. Very comfy looking jacket. A sweater. Some kind of dad polos. Water shoes. I like the duffel bag's pretty nice. They have a lot of merchandise with their kind of their slogan, "Hooked on Cruising." Lots of shirts with that on it. Got some tote bags, including some with the wow, that's the inaugural season from 2018. That must have really not sold well. It's been away since 2016. There's going to be some other shirts as well. They do sell a cruise ship ornament. It's something I always buy on every single cruise ship. I like that. It's kind of like a wine koozie. Cell phone holders. They also will sell toiletries in here, so if you forgot something and you need it, you can buy it here. And that's it's going to be expensive, but at least they'll have it. Located just off the atrium, you will find the library here on board the Norwegian Bliss. Been pretty popular most times. There are a whole bunch of books you can take out at certain times of the day, as well as some games you can play. But now there is one book that they did not have. But now they will have. Experience the Point by our own Andrew Hyde. I'm going to leave it here on the ship for everyone to read whenever they feel like it. And time to wrap things up. I'm going to show you off my cabin. I was in 10513, which is a studio cabin. The first time I've ever stayed in a studio cabin. These are cabins only for solo travelers. Actually, the virtual portal is pretty cool next to the bed. But it's kind of weird, like, you have these padded walls that, like, I've never been in like an insane asylum, but it kind of felt like I was. We got a couple big closets, good sized TV, got about 4 movie channels on there. If you're staying in one of these, I would recommend taking the little, kind of the chair or the seat and putting it next to your bed. That way you have somewhere to put your glasses, like if you're like me and have glasses. Some different areas to plug things in. Bathroom, a very small shower, a powerful shower. And then the world's smallest bathroom. I will say, I've had a good time on this cruise ship. This toilet paper they use is terrible. Like the worst toilet paper in the entire world. It is scratchy and just awful. But the room, pretty solid. Oh, gotta show off the wonderful toilet noise. And there's that. One cool thing about staying in the studio is you get access to the studio lounge, which is just a simple interior lounge. They do have snacks and coffee, juices. So it's kind of nice.
And that'll do it for my trip on board the Norwegian Bliss. A good time indeed. Now, this cruise ship actually didn't cost me a whole much of anything. I got the cabin for free by cashing in some points on the My Vegas series of apps. They do have rewards you can cash in there for Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. And yeah, so I cashed in some points for a reward that was $750 off a cruise. This cruise cost less than that. Thankfully, they had that studio solo cabin, so I didn't have to pay a solo supplement. So my cruise cabin cost nothing. Now, I did have to pay for the port taxes and fees, which I think were around $150. I got the free at sea package that included the one specialty meal as well as that beverage package, and the gratuities on that were around $100. And then for a 5-night cruise, your gratuities that paid for the cabin attendant, I think was cabin attendant and dining room staff, those were around $20 a night, so about $100 there. So overall, the whole cruise, the cabin cost me nothing, but I still spent $350, which I think was a pretty good deal for what I got. Now, like all cruises, there's going to be some stuff that I liked and some stuff I didn't like as much. Let me start off with the good, the positive. The crew was awesome. This was I get to go on a lot of cruise ship. The crew on the Norwegian Bliss was some of the best I've seen anywhere. They remembered who you were. They were incredibly friendly. I had a blast with the crew. The crew was so much fun, whether the dining room, the bars, they were really great. My personal favorite being that district brew house. I love that there was a beer drinking competition and so much craft beer. Yours truly, not a big surprise. I ended up winning the craft beer drinking competition. I think in that one bar alone, I had about 36 beers over the course of this sailing. And there was 36 different beers and a lot of good craft beer stuff. I was bummed because there was a lot of like Florida beers, and I've been on a similar ship and I've drank a lot of these beers before. The sailing after mine, when it goes into Alaska, they do all Alaska beers in that bar. So that's a good time. Also, really like the music on board. The party band was great. I like the duo. The piano guy was really good. I also like that this cruise ship has different menus when you go to different bars. So if you want one of those 50 craft beers, you got to go to the brew house. You want a nice tropical cocktail? Well, then you go to the sugarcane mojito bar. You want an old fashioned and a good selection of whiskey? Well, then you go to Maltings. So I really like that. Also, there was some pretty sailing, like when you're going through parts of Canada, it was really pretty. And this ship had a lot of different places where you can, see the ocean. Some ships, it's not as easy to see the outside world, and it's more like you're in a giant floating mall. This one, there's plenty of opportunities to see the scenery around you, especially in the waterfront and in the observation lounge. I ate in the main dining room on 3 out of the 5 nights. I thought the food in there was really good. Thumbs up to that. I love that they offer an arcade pass, so you can play all the arcades you want on the ship. I didn't do it, but, it is tempting. I love the local, having that 24-hour restaurant where if you want to go get chicken wings at 2 in the morning, or you want somewhere else to get breakfast at 10 a.m., or you don't really like the food on the buffet, so you want to go get a solid lunch in the afternoon, I absolutely love the local. I thought it was great this cruise ship offered 2 different Broadway shows with Jersey Boys and Six. I can't think of too many cruise ships that do that. Also, I like that they offered these studio cabins, so that made it more affordable for me to go on this cruise. And last but not least, something I enjoyed was the port of Victoria, British Columbia. What a really cool little town that is. Now, with the good do comes the bad. I try to be honest here. And there's a lot of stuff I did not enjoy about the Norwegian Bliss. And for me, first of all, it felt like the ship is not designed for cold weather. Like, the ship feels like it was designed for, at any given time, well over 1,000 guests to be on that top deck. Well, it's 40 degrees, it was raining, so no one was on that top deck. Nobody was in the Spice H2O area, the Vibe area, the Haven outdoor area, the Lido Deck. So what that does then on a pretty full sailing, it forces all those people into the indoor areas of the ship. And so the ship felt pretty crowded at all times, and more crowded than you think it should be. The ship actually could benefit from, having a big indoor solarium area that other cruise ships do to help weatherproof it a little bit. Going along with the crowds, the Chaos Buffet. Man, I enjoy a cruise ship buffet, but this was just... It was just a nightmare at all times. No matter which meal you went to, there was 1 million people there. It was full. You had to search and hunt for a table. A lot of times I had to go eat outside in the cold because I didn't want to just keep roaming around the buffet in hopes of finding a table. And I was a party of 1, so I could have sat anywhere. I can't imagine what it would be like to find a table for a family of 6. Ooh, something I did not enjoy. They have really, really weird bar rules on cruise ships when you are ported in Canada. The Canadian rules state you can only have 1 bar open on a deck of a cruise ship. So like on deck 8, when there's probably 5 or 6 bars, only one of those bars can be open while you're in port. And man, that is not cool. Not cool at all. Did not like that rule. Come on, Canada. Talking about the bars, there was no flavored liquors or no hard seltzers, which I found surprising. Do enjoy like a flavored vodka or a flavored rum, and there was none of that. The ship is very, very heavy on upcharges. Just counting some of them off the top of my head. The Vibe area, the Haven area, go-karts, laser tag, painting classes, fitness classes, the casino, specialty restaurants, bakery, the other bakery. They have beverage seminars they'll run in the afternoon at some of the bars, and they will close down these bars for over an hour at a time so they could try and sell you a seminar about beverages. So definitely, while the cruise was relatively inexpensive, I did feel like I was getting nickel and dimed along the way. I also felt that there were too few elevators, and there was always waits for elevators, and the elevators were always uncomfortably full. And, you don't want to be at an uncomfortably full elevator at all times on your cruise ship. And I mean, this is a cruise ship. I think it has like 20 decks. So, like, you really got to take the elevators if you want to go from the top of the ship to the atrium. That's 14 floors. On our sailing, I went from LA to Victoria, and man, there were some rough seas on this one. While it's a big ship, and normally big ships don't get affected as much by rough seas, this one, it did. It felt like you were in a washing machine for the first 2.5 days of that sailing. Yeah, pretty rough waters. And also one minor complaint, they did have a whole bunch of trivia games that you would play, and you would get stamped on a punch card, and at the end of the ship, you're supposed to turn in your punch card for a prize. But they never did that. And I asked people like, hey, where do I turn in my punch card? Nobody knew. It wasn't on the Times Guide. So like, hey, pay trivia, get these points, and then you could get a big prize at the end. Except you couldn't. There was no big prize at the end. And that, I'm sure, was just a scheduling snafu, but a bummer indeed. All right, that'll do it for my time on the Norwegian Bliss cruise ship. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. And thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you didn't watch videos like this, well, I couldn't travel across the country and then go on a cruise ship to another country without your support. So thank you very much. And thank you all for watching.